Aggregators now are not the same as they were a year ago. Today, I'm going to give you the lowdown on e-commerce aggregators from someone who has sold to an aggregator, works with them every day, and sells other people's brands to aggregators. I'll cover all you need to know, because this is the series where I give you a tip that you can apply to your e-commerce business to help you sell it for the best possible price, deal structure, and at a time that suits you. I'm Ben Leonard, and I built, scaled, and sold an international seven-figure e-commerce business. Now I help others to do the same with ecombrokers.co.uk, the e-commerce brokerage by e-commerce people for e-commerce people. This is Exits Made Easy, an Ecom Made Easy sister show. Who are the e-commerce aggregators, and will they buy your business? Many of you probably have a good idea as to the answer to that question, but given the turbulent time in the M&A world of e-commerce, I think this topic bears discussion. Aggregators now are a different beast than they were 12 to 18 months ago. If you're in the e-commerce space, it is nigh on impossible that you will have failed to notice that a new breed of e-commerce company has been making headlines for the last several years. These companies are known as e-commerce aggregators. They are large corporations which are consolidating smaller e-commerce businesses. Where do they get their money? Well, their funding comes from a combination of equity and debt provided by private equity firms, family offices, and wealthy individuals. Now, the business model during the aggregators' first coming, 2018 to 2021, as I like to call it, was essentially cash flow arbitrage, right? In other words, they bought profitable e-commerce businesses at a low multiple, regardless of the quality of the brand associated with that business, and sold the business later when it became more lucrative for them, or planned on going public. Now, none of them have gone public yet. None of the aggregators have gone public yet. However, this all changed drastically with an environment, the e-commerce environment, where strong brands are now needed to sell your own existing online business. You need a genuine brand identity in your business to be present in order to not only receive an offer from a buyer, but actually to continue operating the business successfully long-term, regardless of if you want to exit. In 2022, everything changed. No longer could you sell a pretty shabby Amazon account selling a variety of private label knickknacks for big bucks. Some crazy stuff happened, and everyone, frankly, was running around like headless chickens thinking that the sky was falling earlier in 2022. It's not, by the way, and this tough period was actually a correction in the market, is good for everyone in the long term. Thrasio, the pioneer in the aggregator space, who, by the way, bought my brand back in 2019, my first brand, they pulled out of all acquisitions. They let thousands of people go, including their entire M&A team, all the way from VP level right down. They were close to going public, and then the plug was pulled on that, for now. We've also seen stronger aggregators buying weaker aggregators. For example, Awesome bought Flywheel. Aggregators and their investors went through a period of self-reflection and came to realize it wasn't all about cash flow arbitrage. This was big boy real business. When the first aggregator started out, they mistakenly believed this was going to be easy. These aren't real businesses. We just roll them up and they run themselves like clockwork and we'll make bank, is what they said to themselves. They believed that if you could run your e-commerce business in your spare room, which of course you can, you might be doing it now, then they could do it better and at scale. They failed. They failed to recognize that these are real businesses that require significant skill and operational know-how to run. They struggle to hire the talent because the talent doesn't want a job. The talent wants to build a brand. The talent they could hire was far too expensive compared to the businesses that they were buying. They grew too big, too fast. Now, I mentioned talent there, and this is my biggest frustration with many of the aggregators, an almost total lack of recognition for the talent of the person or the people or the teams who made the brand what it was in the first place, who made the brand so attractive that they wanted to buy it. These aggregators had an inability to integrate the owner's own expertise and then cross-pollinate that expertise across their brand portfolio. Many aggregators just essentially stopped doing all the wonderful and nimble things the original owners were doing when they acquired the brand. I ask myself, why buy a brand and then disregard everything that made it attractive to you? Now, I accept some of the more specific and clever strategies used by sellers. They are difficult to scale. But what a wonderful gift it was for the aggregators to have this tremendous expertise available to you. But then to just arrogantly ignore it is absolutely bonkers. So I have limited sympathy for aggregators cut from this cloth. Many of the aggregators are highly reliant on Amazon, and in recent times, the degree to which Amazon is a pay-to-play platform has continued to ramp up. Organic opportunities have dropped and paid placements have increased. This hit on the margin has been tough. It's been tough for everyone, not least the aggregators, especially when combined with the pressures felt from COVID-related factory closures. And of course, we all know about the difficulties with shipping rates. Thankfully, they're coming down now. A lot of aggregators knew a lot about raising money and frankly, diddly squat about e-commerce. But here's the good news. The good news is that A, they are getting their act together. They're getting their house in order and focusing on improving their operations of the brands they already own. And B, several smarter, newer aggregators are actually e-commerce guys first, who went to private equity with a much stronger business plan and were able to raise money because they have the e-commerce chops. Now, multiples is a very sexy topic, and I want to briefly touch on that. The crazy environment of 2021 saw multiples of 5, 6, 7x even for frankly really poor businesses sometimes. That was totally unsustainable. The expectations of sellers has therefore been totally skewed, and I find it something that I have to manage all the time, these expectations of sellers. We've been through a correction and multiples have come right back down. Having said that, multiples do remain strong for great brands, but don't expect much more than 3x for a generic slap a label on it, private label Amazon play. Now, in order to sell your e-commerce business to an aggregator in particular, you need to have a strong brand, a genuine brand that looks, feels, and behaves like a legit CPG brand. This is a dramatic change from just a few years ago when the focus was on cash flow arbitrage regardless of brand quality. So, what does that mean for your business? If you're thinking about selling your e-commerce business to an aggregator, you need to make sure that you have a strong brand that looks, feels, and of course behaves like a big boy, real brand. What does that mean? Well, it means investing in branding and marketing so that your business looks professional and appealing to potential buyers. Put simply, ask yourself now, how do your favorite brands, could be to do with your hobbies, could be to do with your profession, could be to do with the food products in your cupboards, how do they look and feel and behave? Do that. I talk about this, how to make your business sellable and valuable, in our 7 Foundations of Value series and our Value Pyramid series. Go check out those episodes. In order to sell your business for the best possible deal that you can, you need to be working with experts ahead of time to get your business where it needs to be, to plan the exit strategy and then execute it. Ecom Brokers does that for you, by the way. I can tell you that the most famous of the listing sites sold businesses for an average multiple of 3.6 in 2021 when the market was high. So now in the low market of 2022, it will be even lower. And most of those deals close for only around 75% of the asking price. The best way to get the best deal is to take the business through a mature process with a hands-on broker, not some sort of list it and flip it model. So, to sum up, the days of selling generic TAT to aggregators are over. You need to make sure that you have a strong brand that can compete with other CPG brands. This means investing in branding and marketing so that your business looks professional and appealing to potential buyers. By doing this, you'll be able to position your business as a valuable asset that is worth more than just its cash flow. The key, of course, is to always work with experts. I hope that was helpful. Please subscribe, and you can get more at www.ecombrokers.co.uk, where we plan and execute the best possible exit for your e-commerce business.